Good evening. I'd like to call the Board of Assessors meeting to order. It's Wednesday, February 19th. Note present is Director of Assessing Denise Ellis, Clerk Michael Bassoni, Member Lucas Ray, and myself, Chair Richard Downey. Okay, we'll start the agenda. On the top of the agenda tonight, please, can you start?
Oh, yep.
We have acceptance of meeting minutes that we have on my last meeting on January 20th. I know we had a couple of correspondences going back and forth. I just sent a reply to you regarding the minutes. If you had a chance to look at it.
So the original email came out on the 2nd,
Yeah.
Kelly Malone, and I responded, she never responded. And then I sent out another email, which I didn't get a response from anybody either. And then today I sent out a third email.
Right.
So my question was, who's drafting up the minutes? Like, who's writing up that version of the minutes?
So I assumed you can.
Yep, so I look at the video and I do the minutes from there.
So you
And then
write
I
the
give it
minutes?
to Kelly and then she types them up and sends it out.
So you and Kelly write the minutes.
Yeah.
I just didn't agree with the version of the minutes. So.
Okay.
And I was, trying to get a response so I could make some edits, but I didn't get a response from anybody. So.
Well, what we can do, if this is fine, we can table them. We've done this before. You had made amendments and then forward them to us, and then we can review them at the next meeting.
There's a video of the meeting, so you guys can just vote on it. I'm just not going to vote on the minutes the way they stand. I think they were flawed.
Okay.
So you guys can vote on them. I'm not going to vote for them. But whatever you want to do. Well, we can try to make the changes that, edits. I was trying to make the edits, for the last couple of weeks, but nobody responded to me. So.
Well, how do you feel? Do you want to?
I don't really care, to be honest with you. Nobody reads the minutes anyways. So.
All right.
Vote on
What
it.
about the process going forward? Do you think?
The process going forward, it's, I think we should all be involved in it, and I don't think the minutes should be written by, Kelly Malone and Denise Ellis, two members of the town who clearly have an issue with me, so I think, maybe we all get together and write up a quick skew, or people just refer people to the video.
Well, what about as we have it now, and then if we can get them quicker, then we can make edits.
Why not just keep it to the facts of, rather than putting in their version, her version, and Kelly's version of what happened, rather than just keep it to the facts. Let's just, we signed the bills, we did this and that, and anything else you can see if you watch the Norton meeting.
All right.
That's
All
pretty
right.
simple.
So we'll do it that way. We'll just keep
We
it.
don't need to do a long drawn out, draft of every conversation we had. And, it's,
All right, that's fine. So with that, just to take care of that housekeeping, could we make a motion to? Are you all right? We'll make a motion for the last.
yeah, you guys can sign.
Sure.
Okay.
Motion to accept minutes.
Okay. Second, and all those in favor? 2-1. Okay, great. Thank you. And we'll do that. We'll make a note next time, and we'll just go back and forth and see how that goes. And if that doesn't work, then we can go forward and work on that. So, all right. Next we have old business, Denise. Is that anything?
I don't think old business. I don't have anything.
Okay. Anyone else? Any?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Other business topics not reasonably anticipated. So anything we did.
I see land values in here. I don't know what that is. I know what land values are, I just don't.
Land sales.
Land sales. Oh, did I put values on? I put values,
So
sorry.
I was thinking, just because we're going to be working on abatements for the next 2 or 3 meetings anyways, or however long it takes, that, just to put a pin on the map, to get an idea, where land sales are. Independent, land sales as a standalone, what have they gone up? In contrast and compare that to, the property as well. So that was just an exercise, may mean nothing, but it might just kind of give us an idea as well. So Denise put together, I think, the last 3 years, fiscal year?
Yeah, this all came from PK, actually.
These here? These here?
Yep. You can each have one.
Did you get a copy?
Is there, I think all the copies of
Is it a
Oh.
you got an email too?
Okay, this is.
Oh, I have packets for you guys for different things.
Alright, so we have that, it's,
So,
glasses.
you know, we can look at
There's
this.
one for that one. And that's just other stuff.
And it looks like in fiscal year '24, 6% over year
Yep,
of 25, and then '24 were about 5.
right. And so you see, I think I wrote down a piece sale. A piece sale is a land sale with a building on it, usually like a newer construction or something like that. To look that up.
So what would that be? Like a development that's just getting started?
Yeah, kind of, or just a new home.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have the land sale first, and then by the time they do it, there's probably a building on there, so that's why they code them P. But it's really the land sale. So if you see like, say like FY '24.
You like that one?
Yep.
The first one, we had the value at, the land value was 80,000,
Mm-hmm.
and the land value went up to, the sale price was 105.
85,000.
Oh, 85, sorry, I was in the wrong
To
column, it was
105.
This is a tough
85
font, but yeah, I see it.
to 105.
Yeah, to 105.
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry to apologize for everything.
We can keep shuffling up, right?
And then there was a building value on top of that.
Yeah. And again, this would be, not 100% familiar with that property or that land. Was that, where does that stand now, do you know? Is that,
There's a building on it now.
okay.
Yep. Yep, no, so when you see beside it, if you go across,
Mhm.
it says a colonial is a house style, 2 stories, year built 2023. The
Yep.
effective year, the NLA is a general living area, that's how big the house is, first and second floor, third maybe.
Okay.
And then the building value at 50%, because it wasn't complete when I was out there. So at 50%, it's at 376.9.
Okay.
So that's how you read that going across.
In determining the percentage of the builders, how is that determined?
They take all the sales, they
Yeah.
put them all in the system, so there's a whole report with this,
Mhm.
and then they figure it out from there. So you have the median price, the the average deviation, and the COD.
Is that something you would go on site just to verify the construction, or?
Yeah, when there's new construction, and for the CO, I go out and I inspect the dwelling,
Yeah.
because I have to figure out what kind of quality of construction there is.
Mhm.
Even though we have plans, a lot of plans change, so I have to measure it, do the interior, things like that. And then I'll sign off on the CO when I've done my part of it.
And if a property with the development is 8 or 10 homes, and a lot of times foundations are done, but then 2 or 3, you get a custom model home, and you have 2 or 3 that are,
Everything's
So-
different, so it all goes by
Right.
so if it's a development, they're usually the same quality of construction, because it's the same
Yeah.
developer. So the quality of the construction will be the same, but the house style might be different, the square footage obviously will be different, things like that.
but it's recognized in the status that it is.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So what is the relevancy of this, land
I was
sale?
just, I was curious to see what the percentage of land was, we talk about, the whole property and the assessment, I was just curious, where did land, how did that fall in as far as an increase in relationship to the property?
So, I mean, you also gotta take into fact that, where the property's located, what
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of lot.
yeah, right,
Some of these
right.
are on Reservoir Street, which
Right.
is not gonna
Yep.
carry a lot of value, and some of these are on,
Yep, and we have all
Plain
that in
Street.
there. So when you're going across, you'll see condition factors, do they have land factors here? They'll tell you how much acreage is there, so like the first one on Plain Street was over 4 acres.
Yeah.
The factor is 100.
is this every lot that's sold in 2024 and every lot that's sold in 2025?
This is all, they're called land sales and yeah, they should be.
This
Well,
is
not
every-
all of them, but
Every lot in 2024 that sold.
only if they're like arm's length sales, things like that. These ones might include everything, but this is from sale year 21 through 23 for 24, because we have to have, with the state, we have to have so many land sales to look at, so that means we have to go back.
So
Which is
when you're
what they want
looking
us
at
doing.
FY '25, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 8 lots. That's all we sold in Norton was 8 lots in 2025?
I think we have a few more, I mean, there's Pine alone.
I'm just wondering if this 5% increase is factoring in just these 8 lots, or is it every single lot that's sold in town, or are we cherry picking lots?
I think it's just,
They
no,
don't cherry pick, they,
no.
Well, there's only 8 lots that sold here. Is that all we sold in 2025? Or did we sell,
under these codes, 1300, 1320, and 1310,
but you're showing a
Yes.
5% increase and a 6% increase year over year. I just want to make sure that this isn't,
they go through.
I'm not cherry picking lots here.
No, they pull everything. They pull everything. You know, you might have development that would be different. You know, that would fall under one sale. Depending when it's sold, like over off of Pine Street?
Pine Street, yeah.
Where Lloyd is. All those ones, those aren't in here individually because it was purchased as a development. So it was one big sale, so you wouldn't have all those individual lots there.
So those wouldn't qualify under this classification.
Correct.
I just want to make sure that we're not,
No, they pull everything, they go through all the sales, I look through them, then they go through everything, and they do the final valuations on all of them. And these are land sales, and they're called P codes, which is the land with a building being attached to it. And those are all state codes that we go by. So every town in the state goes by the same codes.
I just got my MLS login, I can check.
There you go.
How'd you get in those?
I just got re-certified as a real estate agent
Oh, okay.
last week.
Yeah,
Yeah? Very good. All right.
nice.
Are we doing anything with these, or just checking?
No, just for informational purposes only, as we're gonna be kind of doing the abatement applications.
so if I find the rest of the lots that sold in town in 2025 and we do the average, we're going to see a 6% increase on every lot?
What's listed in here, it depends on how the lots are listed. If they're auction, they don't usually include those. It depends what they are.
No, I know, this is
But-
just what you provided us, you're showing an increase, which, I don't doubt that there's a 5%.
But there's sometimes you have to take lots out depending on how they're being sold. If it's an auction, that's not an arm's length sale or anything, that's an auction, that's gonna go below value. Things like that, because you have one, I think there's
Going
one
below-
year.
Going below value would drop your percentage, the increase would not be, that would bring down your percentage.
Well, it's not an arm's length sale, so with assessments, we go to arm's length sales,
I just-
usually.
Yeah, I don't know, that's fine, I just don't understand what they're looking at. Are there abatements that are disputing the land value?
I think so.
No?
Yeah, no, I just didn't understand, that's fine.
Okay, next is,
So we have,
Vanderbilt's.
and the bills, we just have two.
Oh, wait, do I get my thing under?
Oh,
under
sure.
Oh, you wanna do that, yeah?
Yes, sorry.
One thing I bring up and then I get captured. If I could, I'll do a brief explanation.
Sure.
I looked around some other towns, and on our board of assessors sites look at 10. And what we don't have on there is, what we do and don't do, which comes up, right? We also don't have, I know if you dig, you can find the abatement application. I didn't dig out for an exemption. What I'd like to do is kind of put those,
So exemptions, yep. Exemptions are,
I didn't see them.
they're on the left-hand side when you go on our website. Where we go?
The abatement is as well.
The abatement's off now because the time is up, so I took it down.
Okay.
That's usually under real estate abatements.
So we took the link down for the real estate abatements?
Yeah, because
Why would we take that off?
they would do February 1st.
I understand that, but what about going into next year?
Then they'll go back up again. Because people send them over in the summertime, that's why they were down in the first place, because I put them up.
Is there a way
And
we
then-
could put a date? I
But
mean, I
they were
think
never
people-
on, they were never on the town
They've been
document.
on the town site before, definitely. But I take them down because if I leave them up there, then people send them all summer and you can't take them. So it's a waste of everybody's time, so they come down, and plus I have to put up the right year as well, because we change the year on them all the time. But on the left-hand side, you'll see, there's a row of things. It tells you motor vehicle, the assessor's database, personal property taxes, things like that. Then we have the real estate exemptions over there, they should be.
Okay.
But no, we can definitely update the website.
Okay, I'd just like to really stick something in there, like assessors do this, assessors don't do that.
Yeah,
And this
so-
is totally snagged from some other town site, I didn't write this out.
But we have a little bit on there that's
We
here,
have-
that's on the website. It is called
Roles and responsibilities.
The Role and Responsibility of the Assessor, which is on the front page. And it goes into a little bit, but we can definitely add to that, there's no question. If you want to put like,
I don't even think I've even see it. I went on the sideboard there. This can help you find what we're looking for.
Yeah, I have it.
yeah,
I
that,
have that right here.
Oh.
So
so yeah, if you want
what's
to
this?
add stuff, absolutely.
What I'd like to add in here, like in this text, is
Yeah.
I would like to add links to the abatement application, the exemption, and we can just say, you can change the link to say, not available, you can't submit this until whenever.
Yeah,
I
Sure,
think
we can do that.
I think we should have it up there just because some people, especially ones who don't spend all year here,
Yep.
might want to look, and then that's kind of in context. I'm not the world greatest web navigator, but I didn't run into the,
yeah, I
the
think it should,
applications.
I think it should be up there all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could just,
Okay,
And, and again, you can just have a highlight, application
yeah.
commences, deadline,
If we got 3,000 of them, it'd be a problem,
questions,
but we only
please
get
call.
100 or so, and that's,
yeah.
so.
yeah, we don't get anything like that.
But it should be up there all year, and it should be, you did change that link on the bottom, it was on the bottom.
It was on the bottom,
And then you put it, when you click that, right there, front and center.
it comes up, yeah.
So what's
We'll
happening?
change that though, I think we're getting a new website. So that's all gonna be updated when we get the new website,
Okay,
so,
but I think it should be up there all year.
okay.
Other item I have, which came up in the conversation, and I didn't know the answer. So, when we abate a property, it's just for example, use like National Grid or someone who has a huge property in town. If they went and got a $10 or $20 million abatement somehow, how does that change people's bills that year, or does it only change them for the next year? Like, let's say, they get granted an abatement for their poles, and instead of 50 million or whatever they are, they come out at 30, because they're old and gross. Where does that gap get made up? Next year?
What do you mean, on their card themselves, like what we tax them?
Yeah,
Or
what we
where's that
tax
money
them.
coming out of?
Yeah, where is it coming out of, or where do we,
Right.
because I know we have that fund that when we overcharge, because a couple of years ago, there was $400,000 in it, that we eventually hand back to the regular budget.
So that would be the overlay account,
Right,
right, so all the abatements come out of that.
okay,
All these ones that are at the ATB,
yeah,
I try to figure out how much it's gonna be,
okay,
and I put that in there.
okay.
And we will be using what's in there.
So that overlay account is essentially where we remove or add the money from the abatements?
Right, so
When we
what
can.
happens is the
Okay.
finance director, accounting will put, I'll tell them what I need, what I estimate that I need in that account, and they take that out of the budget and put it in there.
Okay,
So all this money actually comes out of the budget.
right, so like a plane cracked in a Northern Island or something like that, you might want more money in that overlay account because they're gonna say, this
Right.
charred husk of a building is not what we built.
Right, so a couple of years ago, I had a lot of money in the overlay account on the side. Like I said, like there's a
I remember
spot, at the ATB, I put a lot in there because we have other warehouses. This year, I cut those down because we're gonna be settling quite a few of those. But we will have to pay out some probably. We'll
And
see.
that's, and what is that, like 1% of our, what's in that typically? A few $100,000? I don't even know. I just remember when we had Fork it back that year.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, we use it all because we have to leave money in there for all the exemptions. It
Mhm.
covers the exemptions, the abatements, all of that, so.
Okay, and that just keeps rolling along on its own until we clear it out. Okay,
Yeah, if there's any extra money, then we would
all right,
give some back,
that answers my question.
okay?
Okay. Anything else to add, Mike, on?
No, good. That
Okay.
answers that question.
And so we will continue as an action item, the do's and don'ts, see if we can, agree on that we want to put more information.
So the one thing I see that, Mike, this form that you gave us today, it says right in here that, the assessors basically required, that we have to determine the full and fair cash value. And I think that's where a lot of the discrepancies go is, how are we determining the full and fair cash value? So if a home, let's just do an example, if a home sells for 1.8 million, that is the benchmark. That is what the home sold for. So how is that home then 9 months later valued at 2.1 million? So the home sold for 1.8. That home is worth 1.8. So I actually got the home here on Reservoir Street. It sold in 2022 for 1.880 million, so 1,880,000. It sold in 2024 for 1.8, so it actually sold for $80,000 less 2 years later. That current value on that home is 2.15 million right now. That's an increase of $350,000 in the last 18 months, or right around 20%. So if that home sold for $80,000 less 2 years later, how are we then increasing the value of that home $350,000? The home is what it's worth. It's what it's worth is what it's sold for. So if you look at the, this guy's taxes here, what is it, 13% or whatever, 12%, he's paying an extra $4 to $5 grand a year on valuation of his home. It's not worth 2.1 million. It's worth 1.8. That's what it's sold for.
Right, it was worth 1.8 when he bought it, that's right, that's full and fair cash value. From there, what had happened after? I don't know, so that would be considered an outlier. He's on the reservoir. Maybe there was some other sales on the reservoir that included the land portion of it to go up because it has a reservoir.
No, this is the highest selling home in town.
If you let me finish, if you look at the on the land tab, you'll see 120. That means it's on the reservoir, there's a code. So there must have been other homes on the reservoir that went up because it's on the water. So what happens with that is, because again, everything we do has codes in it, and it's all connected to the tables that we have. So if 1 or 2 houses on the reservoir go up, it's hitting everybody with that code.
So,
Now, we don't go into each individual account. We don't do that. That's over 7,000 accounts. We can't do that every year. That's why we have software to do all that stuff. And there are outliers. This will happen. This is why I tell people, always check your property record card every year because there could be issues
so
with it.
there's 2 homes on the reservoir that sold over $1.5 million. I mean, that are valued over $1.5 million. The other home is directly next door. That home is 3,500 square feet larger than the home I just mentioned. That home is valued $184,000 less. I'm finishing that.
Okay.
That home is owned by the conservation chairman. Okay, this is my issue. This home is directly next door. I know the property. I used to live on the property. It's 3,500 square feet bigger. They're both waterfront properties. This home is less, 200 grand less. Neither of those homes have done any permitting. Neither of those, you can't find any comps in town because homes that haven't sold for $2 million. There's not a home in town that sold for $2.1 million. This home is way overvalued based on the sale price.
You have to look at the quality of construction. You have to look at all the different factors on those cards. Are they actually equal? No, they're not. One is a newer home, one's an older home. What's the quality of construction? That's a huge factor. That house, the newer house, is a beautiful home. That has a higher quality of construction. That's one of the highest ones we have. That's one factor right there. I haven't really looked at it. They're not getting a discount anywhere. If there's going to be kind of a discount on that account, then you would see it on there under the depreciation, if there was any kind of a discount. I have not been to that house, so I don't know.
So this is, yeah.
And just because a house sells for 1.8 doesn't mean we don't have houses out there that are assessed more than 1.8. obviously, houses are gonna keep going up.
I've actually looked at every,
Sizes and things like that. I
I
mean,
looked at every
not
home in
houses
town.
stop at 1.8 because that's the highest sale, that's impossible.
you don't, so we're supposed to be basing valuations on sales from 2 years prior. When you get into these higher end homes, you're not getting sales for $2 million. There's not a home in town that sold for $2 million. I've looked at every single home in town, I look at the sales, I've done the comps. So there's
So-
not a home in town that is sold. This is the highest selling home in town right now, and it
That was
sold,
2 years ago.
that was 2 years prior. And if you look at comps, comparable homes from 2 years prior, there's no comps for that home.
Okay,
So the sale price is the comp.
so let me explain how high-end homes work. Again, when they bought that house at 1.8, there weren't any sales out there for 1.8, correct? How did they get it to 1.8? When you have different homes like this, a high-end home in an area that doesn't typically have them, the appraiser has to go out of town. And they'll look at surrounding towns that are comparable, and they'll look at the homes, and they'll find them. That's how people in high-end homes get their appraisals done, because that's the only way to do it. They're selling the house for that amount, the appraiser has to come in and figure out how we're gonna get to, why is the house valued at this if there's nothing else in the town?
I understand that you go out of
But that's-
town, but, when you say you go out of town, to me and you actually went through this in Boston at the appellate,
Yep.
and you went out of town for my home, but I live
I didn't
500,
go out of town for your home.
you went to Easton.
Oh, did I? Okay, well,
And
yeah,
then
so,
I live 500 feet away from Taunton, where there were comparable homes, but we already discussed this. So,
Taunton's not a comparable town.
well, there's comparable homes, so, another thing, not to beat a dead horse, but if you got a appraisal, okay, so here's another example. You got an appraisal for 1.5 million for a home, a bank appraisal for a refi. And you got an appellate tax court decision that comes in at 1.6, okay? You gotta assume that between the bank refi and the appellate, that they're pretty accurate. So then why does the town jack it up to 1.9?
So on an appraisal, because I'm an appraiser, I've been doing it for 25 years, when you have a situation that I know you're talking about, and you have a 6,000 square foot garage that no one else has, and you can't bracket that garage, then an appraiser cannot put in, the banks only allow an appraiser to put in a certain amount of money for an additional building. After that, there's too many issues. So they can only go up 100, maybe 200,000 they can get away with the bank for an additional building, maybe not. But if they don't have anything to bracket that, then the appraiser can only bring in a certain amount. And between that appraisal, because that garage is not $100,000, I mean, to build that garage, as you know, is probably gonna cost a few $100,000 to build that garage. And that's how the appraiser has to do it. That's why you're not seeing a full value on that garage, because the appraiser can't do it because there's nothing to bracket.
So we shouldn't
And I've gone
be
through-
taking in a bank appraisal or an appellate decision into factor when.
We did,
Okay.
and we did take in that
So if you're
factor.
talking about garages, there's several garages in town which I feel are overvalued and some are undervalued. So when you're talking about garages, and you say that garage is worth more money because you consider that livable space, but that garage is not livable, that garage is, per the bylaws in town, you cannot live in that garage, you cannot rent it out, it's not a declared in-law, so you can't value it like it's a home. It's not a home, it's still a garage, it may be a finished
Incorrect.
garage.
Is it
Incorrect.
detached?
Okay,
Detached? versus-
detached.
And you're incorrect on that.
I
So
am
when
actually
gave-
correct, and I've discussed this at the appellate, and I won that argument
No,
at
you
the
didn't.
appellate. You didn't agree with that
You didn't
decision.
win because
I won the
Lucas-
appellate, and you didn't agree with that. And there's other homes in town who are dealing with the same thing, where Mrs. Ellis is saying that is a declared livable space. In garages that are not heated, this garage, another garage is not heated, it's got lower than 7-foot ceilings in like 3/4 of the garage. There's no livable space
Is there
up
any
there.
mechanicals in the garage?
There's no livable space up there, and
When-
that she come in and she says, that's a livable space. That is not livable space. We cannot charge someone $180 a square foot like it's a home when it's a finished garage.
So it is a finished garage?
It's finished to the point where there's sheetrock in, there's no livable space, there's
Is
no
there any
heat up there.
mechanicals at all?
Yes.
Furnaces?
No,
Let me explain garages, because I
Plumbing.
gave you all the paperwork on the garages from the state website. If it's a garage and you have a finished room above, It is considered livable space. It doesn't matter if you can sleep in it or anything, but you can hang out in it. And if you have there are 4 factors for living area. You have your walls, ceilings, floor, and heating. You only need 3 of those factors for it to be considered livable. And again, I gave you all that information last year about the garages.
Yes,
So
we argued
yes.
that, and we argued that, and I won that argument,
didn't.
so I did win that. But they made a $270,000 adjustment.
I'm not gonna get into any
No,
of
we
that.
gotta
I'm
talk
not
about
doing
this, Rick,
it.
because this is how, it's not just me. There's other properties in town who are dealing with the same thing, who are dealing with the abatement process with Mrs. Ellis, and she's going and saying that that's livable space, it's not livable space. How about there's another garage in town that's 1,600 square feet, finished, and it's valued at $40,000, and guess what? That gentleman is also on a board in town, $40,000. You can't build that garage for $40,000. So there's several garages who are, folks are getting
Well, you
favorable
said your garage was
valuations.
only 75,000 to build.
No,
That's what you
no.
have on your permit. You got a 6,000 square foot garage.
And I'm getting billed for what, 400,000?
Yep,
All right.
it's big.
And you valued
It's
it
big.
at almost 700,000, and the state made an adjustment of 300,000.
Right.
Because you were wrong and you valued it wrong.
It's not that.
So I have a question, so if someone has an overvalued, or they think it's an overvalued property, they file an abatement,
Mhm.
right, and we'll go through that process. If, let's say you're driving along, you see a garage and it's massive, and you look at the property card and it's valued at $10,000. What do we do in that case?
We take a good look at it.
I understand that, but like, how do we, is that what you're asking? Like, how do we equalize
I
between the
think it
ones
should,
that
I
are?
think it should be a fair process where, certain members, just because you're in the,
There are
you're
no-
playing for the
Computerized,
team.
so we can't, they
There are
don't
no,
go
there are
through.
no members getting
Okay.
any discounts.
Yeah,
Everything
this
is
my
right on the
issue.
cards.
If
All
you
you
got
have to do
certain
is
people
read
who are
it.
playing
Let's
ball,
keep
are
it-
getting very favorable valuations, and then certain
let's-
people are not getting. I think it should all be a fair process. I think let's go to the computers and let's punch everything into the computers, and let's not have individual homes that are targeted, whether it be up or down, because I've already proven this, fellows, without a doubt, that there have been members of this town on different committees who have gotten favorable valuations in their
Absolutely
property
not.
card without going through the
Absolutely
proper
not.
process.
That's
So why
not
don't we
true
do
at all.
this? I think, again, we're kind of going off the margins.
So let me just
Your point-
explain garage, I'm sorry, let me just explain garages before I forget. There are different garages out there. We have your, we're only gonna talk about detached garages. You have your detached garage, your typical 2-car garage, maybe no finished attic or anything. That's your basic garage. Then you have a detached garage that will have a finished loft area. It's not a full second floor. It's because of the roof angles. It's only maybe a half. So that's in there as a detached garage on one card. It's on a line item with a finished loft area. And we put the measurements in there, how many feet are on the second floor, things like that. Then you have the third type of garage, which is a detached garage with a full second story. That, depending on the size of it, in the layout of it, might go on to a second card. We do have some in town that are like that. But there are different levels of garages, so you really have to take a close look at everything. You have to take a close look at what the quality of constructions are, what the size is. Again, there's so many different factors. But,
All right.
and that's
And
about
I'll end with this. Didn't you say if a detached garage gets built years later or after the primary home's built, you said the appraisal only can go up so much?
So when you have an enormous garage, which I've researched, I don't know how many towns to find a garage big, but I can't find one because they're not legal in a residential area. So this is the issue that we're having. He has a commercial-sized garage in a residential area that is an issue because there's nothing out there like that. The appraisers can't find a garage like that. It's impossible, there's
Well, there's
nothing
one
out
a quarter of a
there.
mile down the street from me on Meadowbrook Road, that's the same exact
Oh, did it
style.
sell?
Same exact size.
Okay. So, it could be a barn, we don't know. If we're not in
It
there,
is
if
a
I don't
barn.
get
That's what
in.
mine is, it was a barn.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
Anyways,
So,
let's just move on to something
Yeah.
else. We're gonna get into the abatement,
Right.
so I wanna know like how, it's not up to the tax assessor to determine the abatements. It's up to us as a board to determine the abatements. So she's gonna present us with the, abatements, and then we're gonna review, we're gonna come up with a fair process so that we're fair to the taxpayers of this town.
Correct.
So,
Oh, those-
We always,
Those ones, yeah.
We're
excellent.
gonna do it the same way we
Going
do it
down,
every year, what
Look,
we
can you throw
always
me
do.
Josh's property card, I just wanna see,
Which one?
the other one, not the.
Conservation guy?
The other guy. Patrick Combs.
John's
Patrick's
house?
house, there, yeah. Didn't I have to call it Josh's house? Doesn't have a ring to it.
So I think that one's all about the code on the land, because
Oh, I
it's
don't know, I just
a
wanted
it's
to
a
see,
reservoir code.
Just
Which
looking at
is-
his garage, new knowledge of garages.
He doesn't have a garage. On reservoir, which house are you talking about? John's
Patrick
old-
Chung's house.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have a detached garage.
So
Just
his
detached.
his land value went up $10,000 in 1 year, and right next door, that land value went up $10,000. So the land value isn't a dispute. Clearly, they both live on the water, they're both on the same property,
same size.
same size. Yeah, roughly. No, it's not a land issue. It's just misvalued.
You have to look at depreciation on the card, quality of construction, there's so many different factors.
But this home went up 20%, and my issue is some homes are going up 2, 3, 4, 5%, some homes are going up 20%.
Yeah,
There's no
Well,
consistency
I
there.
mean,
It's not supposed to be
this
the
is a
same.
perfect example of what our role is,
Mhm.
right? When we see something that's questionable, that we have a question.
yeah,
then
nothing is
we-
gonna go up the
When we
same.
review it, and we'll review it. I mean, when you mentioned about the bank appraisal, I didn't know that they can only go up so high.
Otherwise, it gets thrown back to the appraiser, and the appraiser has to figure out how to bring that garage in at a regular value, which is impossible when you can't bracket that garage. It's impossible.
Okay.
So, believe me, I've gone through it a million times with things like that, and it's very difficult, and the banks are very,
Okay.
they're not
All
gonna.
right, so let's, this is gonna be a continued discussion for a while.
So the other question is, in the emails, you guys said that we have to have these abatements done in 5 weeks. So why is there something in the state law that says we have to have them done by the end of March?
3 months from the
Well, no.
day they apply.
3 months.
Yeah, it's 3 months, but, again, we get the fiscal year in mind too.
So 2/1 is the cutoff date, so 5/1 would be we have to have them done by May 1st.
Yeah.
So not 5 weeks, so it's May
Well, it
1st
depends on when they apply. If they apply January 1st, then, yeah.
when they
then-
turn them in. When they
when it's
apply
stamped-
them.
When it's stamped in,
So
it goes by that.
3
date.
months from when they applied.
90 days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I had in my mind too, when I said that was, there's gonna be a change of members as well. And we need, they have to
Yeah,
get up
exactly.
to speed as well.
So that's the other, I'm not sure if Mike pulled papers, I don't know who, did you pull papers for the re-election?
No.
All right, so if Mike's seat's gonna turn over, then,
Correct,
we should probably
that was my,
When
wait.
does the next board sit? It's not immediately like April 12th, wouldn't it be like July 1st?
I don't know when the board, you would,
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it doesn't,
It's at
not
the,
like.
it's at the
Well,
following
yeah.
meeting, Pat,
I
the next
believe-
meeting after the election.
It's quiet after the election.
yeah,
It's not really locked.
I believe the website, I think the website says April 30th, I don't know how that
Usually
date
after you
was.
get elected, there's a gap. It's just,
But you're sworn in
at
right
least a
away.
month.
You're sworn
Are
in,
you?
yeah, you're sworn in that next day, or when you go.
Yeah.
And then they have, I think if you go with the website now, it'll say April 30th
I'll try.
as a
When's
change
the
of,
election? April 12th?
11th or 12th,
Yeah.
I forget, it's a Saturday.
Yeah, so if the cutoff is some of them are 5/1, then some of these
Oh, I see
abatements
what
could
you're
roll
saying.
over to the new members. That's
Oh,
all.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
How many people pulled for assessor, just one?
Should be
But-
only just
but-
one, I don't know this here.
I don't know, I didn't get the list.
But in order for that new member to vote,
I tried to
they
get
have
something,
to
you
have,
wouldn't do
They have to be certified.
they have to be certified.
Mhm.
So,
it. But you get, with two, that's fine, the quorum is two.
Yeah.
So,
those are all things you just trying to think.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's right, Mike.
on the benefits, perhaps?
April 30th, I think it says.
It doesn't say in the charter, actually, it might be in the.
No, it's on the website, though. It'll say term expires. If you look at all the appointed
I saw it the other day. I don't
elected
remember.
officials, appointed officials.
I wanna say
I
it
don't
expires on
believe
the
it's on the
30th of
website, I go to
April.
the actual law, so
Yeah, right,
I'll find the
right.
bylaw.
Yeah.
That sounds exciting.
This is not in the
But
charter.
I think general practice has been that once the election, the next day.
All right.
All right. Vendor bills?
Yeah, we just have 2 bills.
Okay.
KP is for the ATV cases.
What?
ATV cases?
Yeah. And, so, this is for,
Oh, Sanborn is, oh, this is the mapping company, that's a GIS. So, planning put something, they updated something on the GIS.
so it's just an up.
It's, yeah, so every time, like, if we do any kind of a project so I'm in charge of the GIS.
Yeah.
So if anything comes through that needs to be done, there's a fee.
Terms of 3 years.
They updated, and I forget what they
Well, it
updated.
says it right here on this thing, it's 4:30, the terms end.
Oh, 4:30, okay.
4:30,
April 30.
yeah.
Right, that's what I was
That says
saying.
it right on the fourth page.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Michael. All right, we have monthly lists
Yep,
next.
so we have motor vehicle on one page, and then we have the exemptions. We split them up now, so they're on 2 different things. So they're not all in one report.
Okay, we get it broken up. Michael.
Let's see where the property I'm thinking of down there, that's the bunch.
All right, and next.
Next is the motor vehicle warrants commitments. So we have 3 of them. We have 2 from 2025 at the end of the year, and then we have the main one for 26. Let's start with that one. That's 2026's.
Alright. Okay.
And I think the chaplain has to go into
Sorry, yeah.
executive. Thank you. So that's all I have, and I think.
That's it?
Yeah, and then we have to go into executive session.
Anyway, okay.
So the chaplain meeting?
This particular one, I think we need to. We just have to discuss something with it.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah. So what we'll do now is we'll go into executive session. I'll make a motion to
Second?
turn and go into executive session. Second, all in favor?
Coming back into open session?
Yes, executive session. Thank
no,
you.
are you coming back into open session?
Yeah, we'll go.
We just opened back up to close the meeting.
Yeah, well, I think, are you saying,
No, we're gonna suspend and then we'll close the meeting after the executive session.
okay.
You're not coming back, so he can go home?
That's what he does.
he's
Yeah,
all-
That's what I'm
he's
saying.
gonna
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wanted to leave, that's why I was saying if.
Yeah,
We'll be back in for 1 minute.
I like lost
Okay.
the this
There you go.
language I was trying to.
Did you take your vote to go in?
Yeah.
yeah.